Hey guys, hey, hi, hey, welcome to my channel, welcome back to my channel. As you can see, this is going to be a flight attendant story time for you guys. If you guys want to jump to like the dramatic part of the story, I'll time code it right here, but I feel like you guys are gonna do way better with the story if you hear all the buildup. You are probably thinking that I wanted to be a flight attendant because of my mom. That was not the case. Well, hold up. I think every kid to a certain degree wants to be like their parents. So, I mean, it was a little bit there, but the commercial flight attendant world seemed exhausting, especially when you're a junior first starting out and you're delivered the worst trips and you're doing about 5 legs a day. That just sounds exhausting. And for those of you guys who know me personally, I'm one of those sleepy girls. I like naps. So even with my mom, who gets like the best trips and she goes to Europe and she's there for 24 hours before she has to return, whenever I've come with her, I just want to sleep. So that just didn't seem like an option to me until I found this airline where they have longer touchdowns. But then I discovered this airline. It was a unique military charter where the layovers are a lot longer. So sometimes they could be 5 days. So I calculated this. First 2 days, sleep. Then the third day, like explore the town. Then the last 2 days, do nothing and starve because I spent all of my money on the third day. I was ready for it. Like I was so ready for it. So I was in Germany for Thanksgiving and the applications went live for Dallas. I was like, ooh. I send it in, I don't hear back right away. Finally, I get an email back and it is rejecting me. Cut to me crying. And then they just emailed me like, we've decided to move on with other candidates. And I don't know, it's just really discouraging. I'm gonna go eat. I still have some Thanksgiving dinner. And I really love mashed potatoes. I don't know what to do because I put all my eggs into this basket. I am crushed. I reached out to the HR director on LinkedIn, just wanting to add her with a little message, like just so you see my face ahead of time, like I plan on reapplying for you guys. I wake up, it's a Saturday morning, and I have an email from her with a link to sign up for interviews. I can't believe I was reconsidered. I also have no idea what was wrong with my application the first time. Felt like I kept using the phrase servicing the troops in my cover letter, and I thought that made sense, but when my mom heard it, my mom was like laughing and doing motions with her hands, and I just think maybe I did that wrong. Anyway, cut to me being happy. I'm awake in a much better mood. So last night was a little bit rough. I spent, part of the time crying and then listening to sad, angry music because that's what you do when you get rejected. Before I even responded, I was kind of like jumping around and dancing and got to prepare for this interview, which means spending lots of money. But I'm unemployed, so that means spending lots of my mom's money. I made notes of everything. So let me get over here. Let's have a little display going. So I got new hairs, new nails, new suit, a purse, and then threading for my eyebrows and mustache. Okay, make this disappear. After I nailed the interview, I got the packet of what I needed to bring to training, and I realized I had to spend a lot more money too. New clothes. Okay, pause right here. I know what you guys are thinking. Lesley, you have so many clothes. I've seen your haul videos. But if you've really seen my haul videos, you know that I dress like an Instagram baddie, or at least I shop like one and don't really dress like one, but I shop like one, so I didn't have any clothes. The dress code was all black and white, business casual, which I am a very colorful person. I did not have. They required this so you could dress and feel and play make-believe like a flight attendant. So I wasn't a fan that after spending a lot of money, I had to spend more money for a job that wasn't going to pay well. I was also mad that my interview suit was brown. So I had to get a black and white suit too. So, okay, where were we? So we have it settled here, like I got new clothes. And then new shoes, I had to buy 2 different pairs. And then threading again, because several weeks went by and my mustache grew back out. And then there were some miscellaneous items. One of them was like a watch. Let's add them up. This is how much I spent. No, this is how much my mom spent. And I really, really love and appreciate her. So the first person that was pretty major to this story was my roommate. And she was pretty cool. I feel like we got along pretty well, but she did some things that were really, really annoying. So she would FaceTime her friend without warning whenever she wanted to. And she would scream at the phone, and sometimes it would be for 45 minutes. And it was so hard because I'd be so tired after training. I was so good. I would like come back, get settled. I would eat dinner, and she'd be like eating with me. And then when it was time to study, for like this limited amount of like window that I had before I crashed, she would then just talk on the phone. I'm sorry, but she was even older than me, and I felt like that was pretty rude behavior that she should have known at her age. It's not like a college dorm where you might have a common room and then your little, like your own bedrooms sectioned off. No, it's like just one big box of 2 hotel beds. Like I can hear whatever she's saying and it's disrupting my studying time. Another thing that she would do was that she developed this habit where when she got done with class, she would just crash. And that's fine and all, but she wasn't taking a nap with an alarm. She was sleeping, then waking up at 3 a.m., turning on the light, and then studying, which is, of course, woke me up. And then, I had to wake up at like 5-something a.m. to get ready. So I really needed those last bits of sleep. But yeah. Oh my gosh, and one time we were starting a TV show, and then I woke up at like 3 a.m. to her watching another episode without me. I can't remember what comment I made, but I made some comment about like how the subtitles were on, and she said that she's been struggling this entire time with getting the volume to work. So you mean to tell me, while I was sleeping at 3 in the morning, you were trying to turn on the TV with volume? I mean, she was respectful of my space, even if she wasn't respectful of my time or my sleep. So maybe that's like an even trade-off, I don't know. The people in my class were fine. I noticed that I felt like I wasn't bonding like I usually do with everybody. And even the people I bonded with, I didn't always know what to say. But maybe it was just because in the back of my mind, I know that I could be leaving or they could be leaving. And I was stressed and I was tired. So like I'm giving myself a pass on why I felt so off amongst them. But some of them were so rude. But I will say that is not uncommon. There's usually some people you don't like in flight attendant training because I just don't know if there's really enough background checks and vetting of personalities when it comes to that, because people can do their research and be super fake during the interview process and then they get it. I'll list off a few. So there was this one girl who, she was kind of know-it-all like, and I remember when like I had to sit next to her, she was looking at my test grade, which is so uncool. When I was writing in my diary, she was trying to read that, which maybe she thought I was writing about her, but I was writing about her. But I mean, some of it wasn't negative, some of it was just my experience. And then I remember she was really sassy to the instructors. So then the next day, we have our morning exam, and right before it, she gets called out of the room. And I know you can't miss an exam, so I just know she's getting the boot. And they already had her ticket ready and said, like, pack your things, we're going to send you straight to the airport and you're going home. Juicy gossip. Then there was this other girl who had been in the military for a while, and she came with some serious attitude. I don't really personally like get along with people with strong attitudes or strong sarcasm. But, like I would have no beef or nothing against her, but I just don't really respect someone who isn't professional in a professional environment. Like, I don't like that. So I was just kind of like, I mean, you're fine and all, I just don't respect you. That sounds so bad, but I just, I was like, you know what, like, I don't have to be best friends with you guys. I'm not going to jump right into it because we're coworkers first. So I was nice to her, but I just was like, not impressed by her sassiness. She did clean up her act because she realized, like, this was not working out for her. But then when she did, like, clean up her act, it came time to, like, practice door operations. And I have a weak upper body. I am still capable of closing a door, but I needed to actually manually operate on one to learn what works for me to be able to close it with the right force to twist, then tighten the lever. I'm just using like general terms everybody can get. So flight attendants, don't get on me. So while I was struggling with that, she started laughing at me, and I just didn't find that cool. I found that so rude. I was like, okay, you know what? I'm back to not respecting you. And I felt like the instructor should have like given her a harsh look at the very least, but she didn't, and I was pretty disappointed by that. Oh, and then the most annoying person we had was like this 40-year-old woman who thought she like knew everything. And oh my gosh, like just thinking about her, I get angry all over again. She worked for a really small regional airline. So to her, in her head, she knew everything, even though she'd worked like 20 years ago. So I remember she was somebody who's like, not only a know-it-all, but nosy, but she would try to cover it up with compassion. Like we were told that like after a round of exams that 2 retakes were required. Like on the bus, she was saying, I wish we could find the person who needs the retake so we could help them. But it really wasn't to help them because she just loved to hear herself talk, be bossy, and then tell people who failed. One time I was called on, and I'm someone like, you cannot call on me on the spot. Like I forget everything. I just need to go to like into a whole like little fetal position and just think in a blank space before I can answer. So I was like hella stressing. And like she was going, ooh, 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 like right in front of me. And I was like, this isn't helping me. And you're just, blah, blah. I came in contact with 4 instructors. Half were strict, half were pretty easygoing. I honestly don't mind the strict, but there was this one guy, and I don't know, I mean, he was all right. Like, I liked him until the end of the story, but he could just tell, like, he kept messing up on things, and if he got corrected, he seemed really mad and embarrassed about it. Like, his self-esteem couldn't take it or something. And then there was another one who was really easygoing, but she made a mistake, and I was like, ooh, like I kind of want to correct her because she has it wrong. And when I corrected her, like luckily, like I have that kind of personality where I can correct somebody and be like, I hope me saying this doesn't come off as fake because I genuinely did like her, but she needed to be corrected, and I just didn't want to cause conflict when I liked her, and I thought she was still a good instructor. Like, what's happening here? Because the EPOS battery cover should be flush with the door always, okay, whenever we close the door, but you really need to check that during pre-check, and when you prepare, you just need to check. But the only reason first off, I don't think physics will let your door shift during flight. But if your door shifts during flight, you'll know way sooner than that, before our arrival, that your door is messed up. So I was like, oh, whatever, this is exhausting. I don't like this. So in training, you do classroom stuff, but you're actually doing like actual scenarios. So I remember we could go into the back and they had a little staged 777 door for us to open and close. Then they had a mock airplane so we could practice the 767 door. And then it had like a little aisle and the little seats and the window exit. And so we were broken off into groups. And I remember my roommate got pulled from the bathroom and brought into our training center, and she had been violently throwing up. Then she was like on the floor, we were fanning her. And so they wanted to send her to the ER, but she's like, I don't have insurance, so no. To that, I don't blame her. I blame America. They decided to drive her home, even though she was missing classroom time, she wasn't missing an exam, even though I kind of find it weird that I never saw them make a time with her to show her what she missed, because that was CPR on a child and the components of her medical kit. But you know, like nothing that important. So she doesn't get her temperature checked, she's driven back to the hotel, and then she falls asleep in our hotel room. I know her roommate is coming for her, so I end up leaving and going home during the off day. Since the training is in Dallas, I just make a quick drive back to my house, relax. I do send her some text updates, just checking to make sure she's okay. And it appears to be like a 24-hour virus. All's good, she's still in there. But the one thing she kept having that she's never had before was this cramping, like behind the diaphragm area, which is so weird. But again, like 24-hour stomach bug. So a week after that, where we're on week 2, I have a 96.5% average in the class. I start having a cramping sensation right where my diaphragm is. Ooh, ooh. I am getting mentally prepared for this, but luckily I have an off day and I totally know what I'm in for 24 hours. So I kind of let the instructors know, like something might be going on. I talk to my roommate, I tell her what I have. It's definitely what she had. So I'm like, okay, I got this, girl. Like, I'm gonna face this head on. Like, I'm not blaming her at all because really, like, where else was she going to be at? Like, I get it. Like, we were in the same hotel room. So she leaves on bus 1 and goes somewhere else on her off day. And I try to get the last spot on bus 1, but that 40-year-old woman wants her roommate to go on so she has more time to study for her test because she has to take a retake, and that's like the one woman who actually likes her in training. So eventually the second bus comes, I get on that, I'm packing to go home, and I just can't do it. I find myself on the ground. I call my mom, I tell her, you gotta pick me up. So she comes to the hotel. My makeup is so on point, she doesn't think I'm sick. But I tell her, like, I am not feeling good. So we finally pack up. I'm slower moving than usual, and we all know I'm pretty slow. In the lobby, we bump into the 40-year-old woman. She's blowing so much smoke up my mom's butt. Sorry, my mom already knows about you, and she hates you. We get back home, and I'm still not feeling good. So my mom just figures the weekend's coming up. She should probably take me to an urgent care. The wait time was so long. I don't know why, like nobody was there. But I remember I was like sitting back, like holding my stomach, trying to sleep, like, but still looking fabulous like this. And we finally get in and they take my vitals, and I have this rapid heartbeat. And again, this cramping is getting more and more intense. And I have a fever of 102.6. Right then and there, they tell my mom that she can either take me to the emergency room or they'll call an ambulance for me, but this has to happen now. So we drive across town because that's where my doctor is, and we get there, and just such a long process. And they give me 2 IV pokes here, which is so weird because when I went to the bathroom, I was like Robotron, like my mom was having to like wipe my booty. And I only end up getting a bag of fluids right here, and then they give me like an antibiotic that they can like push through my IV, and then this one just never got used. I had to go through various tests. I remember at one point they gave me like a CAT scan of my abdomen with dye, and after that they didn't even flush my kidneys after that. So like it was pretty annoying. And then they were trying to give me stuff that would conflict with like other medicines I had, or like how they weren't like reading my chart, or they didn't really know how to understand my chart, because sometimes I see like a specialist. And so I was asking, like, is this antibiotic gonna conflict with so-and-so? Well, I don't know. My blood results come in and I have the coronavirus. It's mainly a respiratory virus, but it wasn't affecting my respiratory tract, which was really lucky because we all know I have really weak lungs, like, weak. After 7 hours of playing the waiting game, I just go home. I am tired, but at least, I'm looking at the time. I only have so many more hours to go till this 24-hour virus goes away. It's gonna go dormant, Mom, just you wait. Off day comes and it's even worse, because I'm still running the same high fever, but my stomach is now getting exhausted that the cramps are hurting extra.
It's kind of like picking a fresh scab, or like gashing your arm and then scratching it while it's trying to heal.
I was on bed rest the entire time, but then when I'd go to the bathroom, I'd be hunched over and my mom would help me, and it would just hurt. And I was so tired, I'd like go to the bathroom, sit on the floor, wash my hands, sit on the floor, go to the bed, and just be there forever. And I couldn't even eat that much either, because every time I ate, my stomach would start cramping again. So we were wondering like all of these kinds of things. Like, this was mystery diagnosis right here. Finish up my off day, I'm running out of time, it's 5 a.m. and I gotta be on the shuttle to go to class at 7:30 a.m. for an 8 a.m. class. It's like, I don't think I'm gonna do this, Mom. I don't think I'm gonna make it. So I reach out, I have a hard time getting a hold of someone, but by like 7:30, I finally get a call back, and it's the instructor who is strict with low self-esteem. I tell him everything about how I'm too sick to move and that I'm contagious, and I didn't know what my options were, if maybe I could just somehow, I don't know if like a part of me was thinking, well, maybe when everybody else is done with their door operations exam, I could come in at the very end, just do that, and then get to go home and get my notes from my roommate. Because even though this is probably more of a 48-hour virus, it's gonna end, like, please. I'm devastated. I think I just really needed some words of compassion from an instructor. But instead, he yells at me and tells me other people have managed to power through, and that is what I should have done. And he's already saying it's too late for me, even though class started at 8 a.m. and it was 7:20 a.m. and I was driving distance, and that I just need to turn in my materials and I cannot be guaranteed an invite to the next round of training. So I'm mad, and before we hang up, I bring up my roommate, and he jumps on me and says, the timing of your roommate being sick, she was able to go home and miss class, but you're missing an exam. Ugh, it was so annoying because I'm not petty like that. He wasn't listening to what I was trying to say, but I told him, listen, you, like the instructors, you knew that she was sick and obviously probably contagious, and instead of doing anything about it, you just sent her back to our same hotel room instead of, putting one of us in the extra hotel room spares, or maybe splurging just a little bit of money to separate us for a little bit of time. And then you sent her back to the shared hotel room, and then she gets me sick, and now I have to pay the price, and I have to be dismissed from training, and I'm the one who got sicker. So many days later, he calls me. I don't pick up. I don't want to talk to him. He leaves a voicemail and says that he has information about my invite for the next training session, which was kind of weird because he said HR was going to handle it because it was out of his hands. But I guess it was in his hands because he's calling me about it. And I just sent him a text that I was just not interested. And then his response was actually compassionate. And to me, that was just too late. The worst thing about all this is it actually triggered some type of lung infection in me, and I had to go on some hardcore IV antibiotics to get rid of it. And it was just a bad experience. It sounds really extreme, and it is, but what made it more extreme was that they realized that they were treating me with the wrong medicine, so then I had to go on different medicines, so I ended up doing IVs for 21 days. And that was just all so crazy. It was disappointing because during that entire time, my roommate knew I was sick. She didn't send a text to check up on me, even though I sent text to her. And then finally, when I wasn't there that morning, she texted me like, where you at? And then I told her, and she just gave me a one-line text message that said, damn. Good luck with everything. I think it's pretty easy to tell that she and I are not friends. For weeks, I was sobbing because oh my gosh, I feel like I'm about to cry now. But luckily, when I go throughout my day, I don't really think about it anymore because I've closed the book on it. It's like a chapter that I've moved on from. So I'm okay. I'm okay telling this. I really am. Subscribe to join the fam bam. I love you. I mean it. Bye, guys.